So we've established reasons that Europeans went to start exploring the world more extensively in the 15th century. But just because they want to doesn't mean they're able to. So we want to look at some factors that enabled Europeans to actually do this. One was the development of some important technologies. Some of those were navigational. Magnetic compass, which was invented in the Tang Dynasty in China, had made its way to Europe. The compass is key in figuring out which direction you're going. But another key thing you need to know is where you are. And that's where another tool, the astrolabe, comes into play. The astrolabe was probably invented somewhere in Persia and made its way through the Islamic world and eventually to Europe. And this is a tool that's used by navigators to kind of align different stars with some sites, and with the calendar they can figure out, based on the position of the stars, their latitude, how far north or south they are. And with these two key things, their direction and their location, they are better able to navigate to places they want to go. You had some other key tools. Another navigational tool was the portolan, or portolani in plural. This was a type of map developed in Portugal, which showed specific routes and mapped out different ports, places to stop. And with the use of these maps was really tightly controlled by the Portuguese. But some of these maps escaped Portugal to Spain and other places, and navigators will use these to help them find new places to go. And then gunpowder was another key technology. This is another one that was invented in China, developed in the Arab world, where it was first used in firearms. But by the 15th century, Spain, Portugal, and other people across Europe have their own weapons, their own firearms. And as they're trying to fight for control of some territories, those firearms are going to be key. You also have a new kind of ship. This is a ship called a caravel. This was developed by the Portuguese under a Portuguese prince named Henry. And it kind of has a few key features that make it the favored ship for explorers. One is, you'll notice it has both square and triangular or lateen sails. With a square sail, you can pretty much only sail with the wind. If the wind's blowing east, you can pull up your sails and blow east, or sail east, but it's not like you can really go the other direction very well. If you're in the Mediterranean, you can get oars and sail around. It's not that easy to do in the ocean. With a triangular sail, it actually catches the wind at an angle. So by tacking, by sort of zigzagging against the wind, you could sail the opposite direction the wind was blowing, which is key for explorers to be able to go where they need to go. It also had a very large cargo hold. If you're going somewhere very far away, you don't know how long you'll be, you need to carry a lot of supplies to get there. And of course, if you find cool stuff and treasures, you want to bring that stuff back. And that's what the cargo hold is for. And also had a shallow draft. The draft is the part of the ship that goes underwater. Ships look like this on the surface, but beneath the surface they're sort of deeper, and they've got sort of the deep bow, which is key for cutting through waves and currents. But with a shallow draft, the caravel could actually sort of go very close to the coast. It wouldn't snag on reefs like ships with deeper drafts would. It could even go up some navigable rivers. So this type of ship, which again was developed in Portugal, was really a key tool for sailors to use. You also had people who were willing to pay for exploration. Keep in mind, exploring is really expensive business. You have to have a ship, you have to have a crew, you have to have motivation to go. If you're going to go discover some new land, come back, and no one's going to pay you for it, then why would you bother going? And so you have these powerful patrons in Europe who are willing to pay for exploration. In some parts of Europe, you have powerful monarchs. In 1492, two Spanish monarchs, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, drove the last of the Moorish kingdoms, the North African Muslims, who had ruled it for really 800 years and had consolidated their power. And they are really interested in securing their power and the power of Spain across the Mediterranean and elsewhere. And you have other monarchs like Louis XIV in France, and Elizabeth and James in England, and so on and so forth. You also have outside of the Iberian Peninsula outside of Spain, some powerful merchant guilds and powerful merchants. So the wealth of the merchant class, which had grown since the Renaissance, those guys will also be really interested in growing their own wealth.